My name is Erin Griffin. I am a fourth-year math major, and my intended career is to be a math professor someday. So I'll go on to grad school next year and get my PhD. My first inquiry-based math class was spring quarter of 2013, so it was about 3 years ago. And my experience there, I think, was a really good one. It was a good course structure-wise to take as an inquiry-based learning class. And so it was a proofs course, so basics of how can I prove something, what are the different ways to do that. And so a lot of what that course looked like was you would go home, work on the proofs ahead of time, present them to the class, and the class would then ask questions about it, or you would go to your professor for office hours and ask him questions on, okay, well, how do I do this? I don't think I know how to do this. And so it, I think, played a lot on your intuitions and really made proving things a more intuitive process than, oh, I think I'll prove this by, well, this method. It's much more intuitive and thinking like, okay, how do I think I should go about this? Why should I go about it this way? And I think it really enhanced my understanding of those types of processes. Some of the differences are, well, first I'm coming from, at this point in my life, a calculus background. So all of my math classes up to that point had been lecture-based. You go to lecture, learn the material, and do the homework, and that's where most of the learning happens and the practicing happens, is doing homework problems. But this class, the teacher isn't lecturing so much as really being a guiding force for the students. And so it was, one, a very interactive class, which I think was good. You didn't have any fear about asking questions or not knowing something because no one was supposed to know them, or supposed to know the answers in the class, I suppose. And so I think that was really different. A lot of the homework was more self-driven. It wasn't like you were given a specific problem set. It was, hey, here are 10 proofs, and we'll talk about them at some point during the week, and over the course of the quarter you have to volunteer this many times. And so you would get a chance to look over the homework. Ultimately, you would have to turn in all of the problems with the help of your classmates. But it wasn't like I was really aiming to understand what the teacher had taught me. I was just aiming at understanding. That, to me, was really nice. And I think in some ways improved my learning in that class in particular. So it wasn't weird. It was kind of just like a nice change of pace. Like, oh, well, it's really nice that while I'm taking a calculus class simultaneously where I sit and I'm quiet and I'm just learning and focusing, I'm in here doing something and really like actively participating in the class. Professor Retzik made it a comfortable space to come in and say, hey, we're not going to know everything. None of us are, but that's okay. That's not the point. You're not supposed to know things coming into a class. You're supposed to learn them. And I think that the class dynamic as a whole was just really encouraging. And it was like having a team of people, and like you would go up and give your presentation, and then everyone would clap and be like, hey, you did a great job presenting that. Good job. We're proud of you. And so I think that Professor Retzik did a lot to really create that environment and encourage that environment in all of us. And I mean, I think that knowing that he was there to catch us if we weren't understanding something was really comforting. I wasn't able necessarily to talk about math that eloquently beforehand, but I think for many people too who hadn't had previous public speaking experience, I think that it really made them come out of their shell, and I think it really brought the class together because we were on this common ground of we're all presenting to one another at some time during the quarter, so it's not an unusual thing. Like, you're not going to be judged harshly because we're all in a similar position. After taking inquiry-based learning classes, you become very accustomed to the feeling of not knowing. And you become comfortable with that. Like, it's okay that I don't know everything right now, and being comfortable with that, I think, allows you the freedom to ask questions about it. So I think that inquiry-based learning will help me in my future by helping me to persist in hard problems and teaching me that sense of perseverance necessary for difficult problems, and teaching me how to go about things that I don't know yet. And that skill, I think, is a huge asset to have when you're researching things, because you're obviously not going to know the ends of your research, but you're going to have goals. I think that for students who struggle with math, learning via inquiry could be really fruitful for them as well, because I think that it would encourage them that they are good at math. And so to be able to have a class where you can interact with it and really be a part of that class builds a student's investment in the class and in the group of people they're in the class with. And that investment, I think, has huge returns in what they understand in the class and truly take with them from that class, instead of just understanding it for testing purposes. It's really understanding that's going to last a lifetime.